Right now, the fire is under control. We'll have an update from Paris as its iconic Notre Dame Cathedral goes up in flames just one day after local students tour the historic building.
And in an exclusive interview with News 3 Now, longtime Madison Mayor Paul Soglin reflects on his time serving our community and what might lie ahead for him.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
An emotional day for millions of people around the world. Singing fills the streets of Paris as people watch the beloved Notre Dame Cathedral burn.
This is a live look in Paris right now. It is about 5 o'clock in the morning there. First responders say they have the fire under control. They are just working to put out any remaining hot spots. An official cause has not been determined yet, but police do not believe it is arson. For Christians the world over, it's the beginning of Holy Week, and the Notre Dame Cathedral is where many in Paris would have gone for various services leading up to Easter. The
building is more than 800 years old and is visited by 12 million people every year. CBS's Roxana Saberi recaps the tragic day.
A fast-moving fire reduced much of Paris's Notre Dame Cathedral to ashes on Monday. But tonight, the landmark is still standing. The flames were first spotted near the top of the building. They quickly spread across the roof and upper structures and eventually engulfed its iconic spire. After it collapsed, firefighters feared the 800-year-old cathedral would be completely destroyed. Officials later said its walls and two main towers had been salvaged. The interior is believed to have been gutted, but not before some of the precious artwork inside was removed. The fire happened close to closing time when most of Notre Dame's daily 30,000 visitors had already left, so it could have been much worse. Crowds of Parisians and tourists gathered to watch the disaster as it unfolded. Some prayed while others sang hymns.
Notre Dame is not just a building, it's the beating heart of Paris.
Among those at the scene of the fire was French President Emmanuel Macron. He declared it a national emergency and vowed that Notre Dame would one day be rebuilt. Roxana Saberi, CBS News, Paris.
Investigators suspect the fire may be connected to renovation work that was being done in the upper levels of the cathedral.
No one died in the fire, but one firefighter was injured. A group of Sun Prairie high schoolers are visiting Paris right now. This is a photo sent to News 3 Now by a parent of one of the students showing the smoke from afar. We are being told the teens toured the iconic landmark yesterday. A district spokesperson says all the students there are safe. The Diocese of Madison says our sympathies go to the Archbishop of Paris and the faithful. We empathize with their great loss, for we too in the Diocese of Madison know the spiritual pain over the loss of a cathedral.
The incident being referred to there, the St. Raphael's Cathedral fire back in 2005. The building was located on West Main Street, heavily damaged. The fire caused the roof to collapse while the walls and steeple remained. The building was eventually demolished in 2008. The fire was later determined to be arson. On our Channel 3000 Facebook page, people have been sharing their memories, photos, and trips to the Notre Dame Cathedral. More than 110 people so far have shared theirs. To read them or to share your own memory, search Channel 3000 on Facebook.
Let's go to weather now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has our first alert forecast.
Charlotte, it was a pretty nice day today. We had plenty of sunshine. Clouds have moved in, and there's a possibility we could see a shower or a thunderstorm develop at some point overnight. In fact, already a few showers have developed over parts of Wisconsin. There are more showers out to the west, and that's where we could see a couple of thunderstorms develop later on tonight. But right now, most of southern Wisconsin free of precipitation. As we look at low temperatures this morning, it was actually pretty chilly. Here in Madison, we dropped to 22 degrees. Many locations were in the 20s, and a few upper teens were found to our north. But high temperatures today made it up into the mid-50s to around 60 degrees. Boscobel did top out at 60 degrees, whereas closer to Lake Michigan temperatures were right around 50, and their temperatures are in the lower 40s, while we're still in the mid-40s here in Madison and close to 50 out to the west. By tomorrow morning, look for a chance for a shower or a thunderstorm. Temperatures will start out around 40 degrees. Look for a milder day tomorrow with variably cloudy skies. Just a slight chance for a shower during the day. High temperature topping out at 65 degrees. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. We do have breaking news from our Channel 3000 Alert Center. There is a large police presence in Sun Prairie right now. Dane County Dispatch has confirmed to us police responded to a call of shots fired about 9:17 tonight. This is in the 500 block of Athletic Way. We have no word if anyone was hit, but police are still on scene. As you can see, our crew on the scene says they are now evacuating nearby apartment complexes. We will continue to follow this story on News 3 Now and on channel3000.com.
In other news, the Wisconsin Supreme Court is taking up a case challenging Wisconsin's lame duck laws. A Dane County judge initially struck down the laws passed by the Republican-controlled legislature that limited Governor Tony Evers and Attorney General Josh Kaul's powers. But an appeals court sided with Republicans and blocked that ruling. The state Supreme Court will now consider this case and hold oral arguments on it on May 15th.
Tomorrow will be a big day for Madison's mayor-elect. Satya Rhodes Conway will be sworn into office tomorrow at noon at the City County Building on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Rhodes Conway beat longtime Mayor Paul Soglin with nearly 62% of the vote during the April 2nd election. And that means today was Mayor Soglin's last full day in office, possibly ending his half-a-century-long Madison political career.
In an exclusive interview, Mayor Soglin sat down with only News 3 Now's Keely Arthur at one of his favorite spots in Madison to talk about what's ahead.
I get over here about once every quarter, 3-4 times a year.
Madison Mayor Paul Soglin spending part of his last day in the role at a place near to his heart, the Meadowood Neighborhood Center.
It represents the greatest challenges and the greatest successes in our community.
Soglin says the community center and adjoining library encapsulate just how far the city has come in improving race relations.
We were one of the worst cities in the country in 2011 in regards to racial disparities.
At the time, he says African-American unemployment was almost 27% and is now under 7% according to census data. He also says the number of African-American children living under the poverty line dropped by a third.
You know, there's more to do, but those are really big achievements that are really unmatched around the country.
Soglin's quest to better Madison as mayor officially began in 1973. Since then, he served in the role on and off for 22 years. His administration is responsible for the construction of the Monona Terrace and turning State Street into a walking mall. 2 weeks ago, the man who was first elected in his 20s, beating an established incumbent, ironically lost to a candidate that seems to represent a breath of fresh air to voters.
There was the desire, the excitement of electing the city's first lesbian mayor.
He also points to the troubled Tree Lane housing development and his choice to jump into the race after saying he would not as reasons for taking only 38% of the vote compared to Mayor-elect Satya Rhodes Conway's 62%.
Basically, the decision to run for governor and then run for mayor, that made me vulnerable, but it didn't cost the election.
Despite some apprehension, Soglin is looking on the bright side of shedding his title.
As disappointing and as difficult as the election result was, the next morning there was a feeling of freedom, of liberation, looking forward to whatever that next chapter is.
He wouldn't explain exactly what lies ahead in this next chapter, but was emphatic that it would not include public office or another run for mayor.
I've said that twice before. I think this time I can say it with confidence. And plus, I've got the added benefit that I don't think the people of Madison would want me.
Regardless of the message the people of Madison sent him on election night, he says he'll stay put in the city that elected him to its highest office 8 times and figure out another way to improve the lives here at Meadowood and the rest of Madison.
I don't think I'd ever feel that the job was done. You know, as long as there was one family in poverty, one household without health insurance. But looking where we were at and looking at the change that took place, I get great satisfaction.
That was Keely Arthur reporting. Despite earlier reports that Soglin would not attend Rhodes Conway's inauguration, he tells us he will be there tomorrow.
In Washington, anticipation is building this week as Attorney General William Barr prepares to release a redacted version of the 400-page Mueller report. This release could renew questions about the president's conduct in office. The White House says it considers Barr's 4-page summary a, quote, total exoneration of President Trump. Democrats say they want to see the full report and judge for themselves. Governor Tony Evers is creating a task force to investigate ways to crack down on businesses that misclassify workers and conduct payroll fraud. Surrounded by union workers, he signed an executive order today at a training site for carpenters in Madison. Over the last 3 years, audits conducted by the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development found more than 5,800 workers were misclassified, resulting in underreported wages of nearly $70 million.
All residents at the Summit Hill apartment complex were allowed to return home. This after a partial collapse at the complex last week. Last night, RMK management said city inspectors had approved reinforcements made to the building. A contractor removed a load-bearing wall last Monday, leading to that partial collapse. The city later said those contractors did not have the permits needed to do the work. No one was hurt in that collapse. Dozens of people had to be evacuated from a downtown apartment building early this morning after a room caught on fire. This is at the Francis Street Apartments. Fire and smoke could be seen billowing from a second-story window. Investigators determined the fire was caused by a candle and is being considered accidental. Damage is estimated at approximately $50,000. One person had minor injuries.
It is April 15th, and if you haven't filed your taxes yet, you are not alone. As of Friday, the IRS reported that 50 million Americans still hadn't filed. If you haven't even started your taxes, you have to hit that e-file button by midnight, so less than 2 hours to go. If you just got started today, you may have gotten a few surprises with all the tax changes this year. You can also file an extension if you need to or set up a payment plan, irs.gov. Coming up on News 3 Now, Gary will rejoin us with his complete forecast.
But first, is sharing photos online safe? Consumer Reports looks into how personal information can be sent along with your pictures. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You can now buy Samsung's foldable phone, the Galaxy Fold. The 4.6-inch smartphone can open up into a 7.3-inch tablet. You can pre-order the nearly $2,000 smartphone from AT&T now, and T-Mobile will start selling it in stores and online on April 26th.
In Britain, the privacy regulator wants to stop kids from being able to like posts on Facebook and Instagram or creating streaks on Snapchat. The draft rules released today want to ban tech companies from using strategies that reward kids when they keep using a site. So do you love sharing photos with your family and friends online? Well, it turns out you might be sharing a lot more personal information than you think.
Consumer Reports reveals how the photos you post online may contain surprising hidden data that could put you or your family at risk. Leah Linscheid reports.
Take a look at this photo. We see a boy sitting at a table playing with a bowl and a spoon. There's not much else you can tell by looking at it. But if you download the file, you can get much more information. This picture was taken using an iPhone 5 at 4:08 p.m. on June 28, 2015 in Norwalk, Connecticut. In fact, we know the location down to the exact GPS coordinates. So how did we learn all of this?
So when you take a photo with a digital camera or a phone, details about things like when, where, and how the image are created are captured and stored automatically in the file in what's called EXIF data, which is short for exchangeable image file format. And that information travels with the photo wherever you send it, whether you're posting it online or sharing it with a friend in a text.
Consumer Reports says EXIF data can be very useful. When you store photos in Google Photos or iCloud Photos, the EXIF data is preserved, so you can search for photos by date and location. Both services allow you to remove location data from individual pictures. If you share photos using Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or WhatsApp, the EXIF data will not be available to the people who see them.
We spoke to the popular social media companies, and they all told us that EXIF data isn't used for advertising purposes. But some companies like Facebook and Twitter do say they use EXIF data for analytics and other business purposes.
Remember, the EXIF data typically travels with photos you text or email, so keep that in mind when you're sharing. For News 3 Now, this is Leah Linscheid.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us now with a look at our workweek forecast.
Well, we're going to take a picture of the forecast for today. At least you know where you're at. Yesterday, could have been taking pictures in different parts of the Midwest and seen snow or sun or whatever. So today was an improvement. Tomorrow will be milder, but we have the possibility for some strong to severe thunderstorms as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. We have alert days in the forecast for those days. Doppler track tonight, pretty quiet. There have been a few light showers. Most of them have been moving through central Wisconsin and just clipping parts of east central Wisconsin. Most of that precipitation not reaching the ground, but there are some more showers out to the west. Eventually, we'll probably see a couple of thunderstorms develop in northern portions of Iowa heading eastward. Now, tomorrow, just a slight chance for a shower, but the Storm Prediction Center already on Wednesday has a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms into southern Wisconsin with a slight risk not far to our south and west. And there's also the potential for some severe weather on Thursday as well, ahead of a cold front that'll move through sometime during the afternoon. Depending on the position of a warm front, that will be where a lot of the shower and thunderstorm activity tends to focus. And you can see on GFS Future Track, this is from one of the longer range computer models. This begins tomorrow night at 11:30 p.m. Notice generally easterly winds across Wisconsin. To the south, though, the warm front is going to be right in this area here where the winds go from east to the south. And you watch as we head into Wednesday afternoon, you can pretty much make out where that warm front is. Here in southern Wisconsin, those winds shift to a more southerly direction. That should get our temperatures up into the middle 60s. The easterly winds just to the north, so that warm front will be probably somewhere right through about the La Crosse to Milwaukee area. Could be a lot cooler near Lake Michigan with that breeze off of the lake. So temperatures might only be in the 40s and low 50s here and in the 70s over southwestern Wisconsin. That could set up a pretty dynamic situation for the possibility for some stronger thunderstorms as the main area of low pressure sets up over southern Minnesota. Then as we head into early Thursday morning, that low travels through central Wisconsin. We still have the southerly winds here, so the threat for a strong to severe thunderstorm could linger into the day on Thursday, depending on when the cold front, where the winds shift from the south to a northwesterly direction, when that takes place. If it happens earlier in the day, the severe weather threat will be a little bit less. The later in the afternoon it occurs, the warmer will be and the better the chances that there could be some severe weather. And then behind it into Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, just some lighter showers as winds shift around to the north and we see cooler temperatures. So rainfall amounts could be fairly substantial. Some of the computer models showing between a ½ and an 1.5 inches of rain, but there could be some localized amounts in excess of 2 inches in some of the heavier thunderstorms. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in Madison tonight, just mostly cloudy. Low this morning, 22, the high at 57, but right now we're sitting at 46 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Forecast for the overnight hours, look for a low temperature of 40 degrees. There is a chance for a shower or thunderstorm, especially toward morning, but tomorrow look for a high temperature of 65, just a slight chance of rain during the day, and there'll probably be some breaks in the clouds. As we look at future track, you can watch the shower or thunderstorm chance mainly late tonight, low temperatures dropping to around 40, then tomorrow those high temperatures climbing into the middle 60s. Tomorrow night, more clouds. We'll see shower and thunderstorms develop toward morning with those easterly winds, and then again, as that shift to the south starts to occur, those temperatures climb up into the lower 60s with better chances for showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday. We could see rainfall amounts through midday Thursday as much as an inch or higher. 7 to 10 day forecast. Temperatures cool off a little bit on Friday, but get back into the 60s for the weekend. In fact, temperatures look pretty mild for much of next week.
All right, Gary, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, what can't Christian Yelich do? A banner night for the reigning National League MVP. We'll have the highlights next in sports.
Well, the Brewers back home, and they'll get to stay home for 1 week after losing 4 of 6 on the road in California. Tonight, the Brew Crew hosting the Cardinals. We pick it up in the second inning. Big second inning for the Brewers. Down 2-zip until Mike Moustakas goes way out to right field. That's his 6th home run of the season. Brewers cutting the deficit in half. 5 batters later, Freddie Peralta drops one in. Nope. Drops down. Ben Gamel scores, and the Brewers take the 3-2 lead. 2 batters later, get your MVP chance ready because Christian Yelich, a 3-run home run, 6-2 Brewers. But the Cardinals even it out. No worries, though, because Yelich up again with 2 on. In the 6th, another 3-run home run, and the Brewers take the 9-6 lead. Yelich hit 3 home runs tonight. Right now, they're up 10-6. Yu Darvish and the Cubs visiting the Marlins. First inning, Cubs already up 1-0. David Bodie rips one to left field. That's a 2 RBI double to make it 3-0 early. Fast forward to the 5th inning, Javi Baez popping one up to right field. Looks like he's out, but oh no, just kidding, he's not. 4-2 Cubs, they win 7-2. 1 down, 3 to go if you're into the Bucks in 4 chance. The team squashed the Pistons at Fiserv Forum last night, 121-86 to win Game 1 of the opening round. Giannis, stellar per usual, but came out with a little more fire and intensity than we've seen in the past. He scored 24 points and 17 rebounds in 24 minutes. But that got the Pistons down mentally, and then they started to get a little physical. And while that's expected, because it's the postseason, the Bucks aren't going to play that game at all.
As a team, we talked about it to try to keep our composure. Whenever the opponent team try to foul us hard or try to hit us or play dirty, we say we got to keep our composure. We got to do our job, and our job is to win games.
And here's the rest of the playoff schedule. The next game is on Wednesday at Fiserv Forum. Then the series goes to Detroit for the first road test of the postseason for the Bucks. And if necessary, games 5, 6, and 7 will be late next week. Just days after Marcus Howard announced he's coming back for his senior season, both Hauser brothers, well, they're going to do the opposite. Sam is a junior and Joey is a freshman. They'll both transfer from Marquette. And according to ESPN, they'll both go to the same school. But they'll have to sit out next season first. Sam averaged 14.9 points this season, while Joey shot 42.5% from 3. Well, 72 years ago today, Jackie Robinson changed the game of baseball, breaking the color line when the Brooklyn Dodgers started him at first base. So on this day, present-day players all wear jerseys with the number 42 on them, as you saw earlier. And finally this evening, Christian Yelich, not just the MVP of the National League, but also in the hearts of dog lovers tonight. 2 girls from Muskego held up that sign that you saw at Miller Park during opening weekend, asking Christian Yelich to hit a home run. So their dad would buy them a puppy, and well, he did. And so today he delivered that puppy to 6-year-old Lola and 4-year-old Libby. It is, in case you were wondering, a mini golden doodle, and I hear that they're going to name him Yelly. We'll be right back.
My dad buys me a puppy. Well, earlier today.
An update to our breaking news. Crews are still at the scene of a shooting in Sun Prairie. Police say one man is in the hospital in stable condition, and police do not have a suspect in custody. This is in the 500 block of Athletic Way. Police were called just after 9:15 tonight. We'll continue to follow this story on News 3 Now this morning, starting at 4:30 and at channel3000.com.
Thank you for joining us. Do something good, and we will see you back here tomorrow.